what's going on YouTube? It's ya boy, Brandy Boy, back at it again with another Fallout 4 video. And for this video, I'll be showing you all the mods you need to completely overhaul power armor. If there's one thing that Fallout 4 got right, it's power armor. The way it functions in Fallout 4 compared to older games is just way cooler. And I think it makes a lot more sense to have the armor act as more of a mech suit, rather than just some regular protective outerwear. I will admit that the vanilla power armor and its mechanics are pretty dang good, but it did leave a lot to be desired. But as always, we've got mods to add on to our experience. Specifically, I'll be showing y'all a bunch of mods to improve the effectiveness, convenience, and aesthetics of Fallout 4's power armor. So let's go ahead and get into the mods. Firstly, we're going to give power armor a new look. There's a series of high-definition retextures by D. Polari. However you say it, this mod provides a bunch of high-quality retextures for Fallout 4, including separate mods for every individual suit of power armor you can find in the vanilla game, as well as the jetpack modification and the power armor frame itself. These retextures are so good that it makes the base game's textures look like wet cardboard. They are just absolutely stunning. I don't have much else to say here. The visuals alone tell you all you need to hear. Or see. So for this next mod, I get asked about it all the time in my videos and streams. This is the Immersive Power Armor HUD. As you can see, this one retextures the power armor HUD to include a helmet-like frame around it. It's almost as if you're actually wearing a helmet. Groundbreaking stuff, I know. And, dare I say, it's highly immersive. So the design is specifically made for the T45 power armor, but it also works perfectly for T60. For other power armors, it may not line up quite as good, but I like to use it anyway. With this mod, you can now truly feel like you're boxed into a giant, bulky piece of nuclear-powered armor. However, I must state that the glass and blood splatter effects comes from another mod. It's a part of the Gas Mask of the Wasteland mod. That's a whole different subject, so all I have to say about it is that it adds in gas mask with a cool first-person overlay, which also happens to apply to power armor as well. Back to the HUD mod, though. I guess you could say this indirectly nerfs power armor because it limits your field of view, but it sure does buff your immersion, so I think that's a fair trade-off. After all, power armor is already super powerful and doesn't have too many downsides, but let's go ahead and make it more powerful anyway, because that's how we have fun around here. Power armor bonuses is a nice mod to have, which grants power armor some useful buffs. It'll give you a 10% movement speed bonus, so you don't feel quite as sluggish, and you'll also get an 80% resistance to fire while wearing power armor. It only makes sense after seeing how Paladin Dance tanked a direct jet engine blast. You'll also get a hefty bonus to your carry weight, a whopping 500 extra pounds. Now that is much appreciated. It always annoyed me how I had a higher carry weight while out of power armor rather than when in it. In addition to that, you'll also get bonus melee damage while in power armor. It's a giant nuclear-powered metal suit, so you can bet those punches and swings are going to be more powerful than any human could ever produce. So all the buffs don't make power armor extremely overpowered or anything, but it does bring in some necessary buffs that it should have had from the start. To really make our power armor have that beefy feel, we'll need to pick up a few more mods. Prime Plus Hydraulica overhauls the footsteps for power armor. It makes the footsteps sound heavier, clunkier, and even more intimidating. You may also want to pair this with another mod from the same author called Prime High-Tech Power Armor Sound Rework. This one adds in some new fancy sci-fi sounds for your power armor, and there's also a voiced option in case you want to give your power armor some character.
Hostile targets detected. Fusion core status depleted. Hostile target still present. Caution is advised, operator.
To further complement that badassery, you should definitely get Power Armor Impact FX Overhaul. It'll add some dramatic effects to your power armor landings. When falling from a high place, your power armor will leave a big pothole in the ground and throw up some debris in the process. Power armor is pretty heavy, so falling from a few stories high should at least leave a dent in the pavement. If you attach the Vinted mod onto your leg pieces, then it'll be even more epic. Apparently this mod is also supposed to leave footprints, but I suppose it's not working in my game because I'm using mods which retexture the landscape. Anyway, on to the next one. In case you were wondering, I'm using another mod which allows me to always use the quick enter and exit animation for my power armor. It's called Power Armor Animation Changes. That's all it does. It's nothing too complicated, but it's a nice convenience to have because it'll save you some time when going in and out of your suit. But let's say you're in the middle of the wasteland and decided not to bring your power armor for the trip, but then you run into a really tough enemy and are left wishing you had brought it in the first place. Well, with the Power Armor Airdrop mod, you won't have to worry about having those regrets. Now, you can call in your power armor from anywhere. First, you'll have to go to the chemistry station and craft the settings holotape from the utility tab. Next, you may want to craft a unique flare gun and its ammunition. Or, go to the grenade section and craft the smoke or teleport grenades. Then, stand next to your power armor, use the holotape, and set your power armor as your primary one. The flare gun will cause your power armor to drop right out of the sky, while the smoke grenade will call in a vertibird to drop off your suit. The only downside to these two is that they only work while outdoors, so if you find yourself deep into a dungeon and needing your armor, you'll want to use the teleport grenade. Okay, but what if you just have tons of extra power armor frames laying around and not doing anything? Well, you might want to put them to work with the Power Armor Autopilot mod. This mod will bring your power armor to life and turn it into a functioning companion, but there's no voice line, sadly. To get things started, head to the chemistry station and craft up some Power Armor AI modules. Then go to your power armor of choosing and drop it into its inventory, just as if you're adding on an armor piece. The mod will then prompt you to select a slot, and once you choose, your power armor will enter into autopilot mode. If you ever want to turn off autopilot, then simply yoink out the module and it'll go back to normal. I will note that I had an issue with this crashing my game, so you may also want to install another mod which fixes that. You can have up to 3 power armors following you at once, but make sure to arm them before you head out. If you ever leave them at home but need immediate backup, then you can use the craftable smoke grenades to call them in. Kinda just like the airdrop mod from earlier, but this is specifically for the armor with the AI modules in them. You can call in 1 or all 3. Either way, they make quite an entrance. I will say though, they can be a little dumb sometimes. Just consider the autopilot a prototype module. You might be better off getting your companions to suit up, but hey, you have to admit, this is an awesome concept. And you can also use the power armors as additional portable storage, as if you already weren't hoarding enough stuff. And with all the junk we find, we ought to craft some upgrades for our power armor. Power armor jump upgrade is a simple one. All it does is add in a single modification called the spring loaders, which increases how high you can jump. It can come in handy when trying to clear obstacles or get to a vantage point, or you can just use it to jump around in combat like a sweaty Fortnite player. But that simply isn't enough. So let's add in some more with Mogomra's power armor mods. It'll add in 7 new miscellaneous modifications for power armor. However, only one mod can be attached at a time, so if you're really looking to deck out your power armor, then the mod called More Power Armor Mods is a must-have. This will allow you to install 2 mods for each armor piece, but you will first have to unlock the Nuclear Physicist perk, and I think that's pretty fair for balancing purposes. If you want to use both these mods together, then make sure to download the compatibility patch. And lastly, probably my favorite mod for power armor is a mod called Jetpack Overhaul. In the vanilla game, the jetpack consumes tons of action points, so unless you're level 1000 with tons of action points, then you're only going to be flying around for a few seconds at most. Not only that, but you can really only move vertically, and it's pretty hard to move horizontally. But the Jetpack Overhaul mod gives you complete freedom to adjust the functionality of jetpacks however you see fit. Make sure to craft the jetpack settings holotape from the chem station, and then you can get started. The default settings will remove action point cost and give you a 250% increase to horizontal movement speed while using the jetpack. If you think that's too overpowered, then you can always nerf the settings yourself, and bring it to a more considerable level of balance. Or you can make it even more powerful and fly around like Iron Man. Almost literally. That reminds me, I still need to showcase some of those unique power armors, but I'll go ahead and make it a separate video because it's a different category of mods, you could say. But mostly because I'm tired and I'm already running late. Don't worry though, my next video will be my top 10 favorite power armor mods, so stay tuned. If you liked this video, then make sure to crush that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I'll see y'all in the next video. That reminds me, I still need to show my top 10 favorite... Fucking hell, I'll do that later.